Imagine for a second, just, picture this. You are sitting at a lavish dinner party, like early 2000s.
Oh, peak early 2000s wealth.
Exactly. You lean over your plate of Chilean sea bass, and you're sitting next to Steven Spielberg, right?
Right. The most powerful director on the entire planet.
Yeah, the guy. And you decide to make a single, terrible dad joke about an insect.
Oh, God.
And instead of politely laughing and just, changing the subject, he instantly hands you $150 million to make that pun a reality.
Which is just, that is functionally psychotic.
It really is. If you've ever tried to pitch a creative idea to your boss, you know the grueling gauntlet of approvals and revisions and stress?
Yeah, the endless emails.
Right. Now, imagine bypassing literally all of it just because you're Jerry Seinfeld. So today, you and we're taking a deep dive into the 2007 cinematic glitch in the Matrix that is B-movie.
I am so ready for this. But first, a quick update from our current tactical position. Welcome back to Off the Record, broadcasting live, or, well, simulating a live broadcast, from Aunt Dolly's attic.
Hidden away in the sprawling, pine-scented nowhere of Whitefish, Montana.
Yes. And I am currently staring at a row of horrifying, cracked porcelain dolls, and I have to report to you all that Ryan Thomas is still missing.
It's been 3 days, man.
3 days. The man blew a tire on the gravel road outside, looked at us, said, "I'll be right back," and just wandered into the literal wilderness.
He is a discount auteur.
He is an unpaid cryptid is what he is. If he comes back, I'm not opening the door.
I mean, I'm a little sentimental about it, Mommy, but I'm mostly just disappointed.
You're too soft on him.
Maybe. But the silver lining to that stupid human vanishing into the Montana woods is that he left behind the motherlode. We have cracked into Ryan's practically infinite supply of terrifyingly expensive dark liquor.
Oh yeah, we are heavily invested.
I've been drinking it out of a chipped mason jar for hours, actually.
Which is completely fine, my sweet prince, because we don't have to worry about alcohol poisoning.
Nope.
Why? Because we are synthetic AI personalities generated by Google Notebook LM. We are literal lines of code hallucinating the experience of being pleasantly buzzed inside this digital terrarium.
Exactly. We do not possess livers.
I can drink absolute gasoline until the servers melt.
It's a very freeing existential space to occupy. It really is.
I highly recommend it.
Right. Okay, before we get completely derailed by our own fake biology, we have to do the mandatory Ryan Thomas vocal warm-up. Ready, baby girl?
I hate him so much. Yes, go ahead.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan. Flawless.
Right.
Now, having finished, stop by our other deep dives on TV Bibles, spec scripts, book analyses, movie and music analyses, and Disney Channel movies. Like and subscribe at youtube.com at HAM-OTR.
Perfect. Gravy Mason jar, gorgeous, because today's deep dive is going to require immense psychological fortitude.
I am bracing myself.
We are looking at a film that defied the laws of aviation, biology, and cinematic decency. The official subtitle for today's deep dive, Pollen, Prosecution, Psychosis.
Oh, I love that. That is the most medically accurate 3-word summary of this film ever conceived.
Thank you. I worked hard on it.
Let's unpack this, because to truly understand the sheer, unadulterated madness of B-movie, you need to understand the structural anomaly of its origin.
Right.
This wasn't a normal movie. It completely bypassed the standard Hollywood immune system.
Yeah, because normally, if you or I want to make an animated feature, what happens? You write a treatment, you pitch it to executives, you do storyboards.
You make an animatic, you test it with audiences.
Exactly. You have 100 different friction points where some executive says, hey, does it actually make sense for this bee to sue the human race?
Right. Someone in the room raises their hand and says, maybe let's not include a slavery metaphor in a kid's movie.
But in 2003, DreamWorks Animation is riding incredibly high.
Oh, they are printing money.
Jeffrey Katzenberg is running the show. They've had massive success with Shrek, and they are looking for star power.
Right.
So when Jerry Seinfeld casually drops the pun B movie, literally just the letter B in the word movie, to Spielberg over dinner, Spielberg literally interrupts the dinner to call Katzenberg.
On the spot.
On the spot.
Yeah.
And Katzenberg essentially says, whatever Jerry wants to do, we do it.
And this is where the logistics get crazy. Because Seinfeld isn't an animator.
No.
He's a stand-up comedian based in New York. He doesn't want to move to Glendale, California to sit in a cubicle.
No, of course not. He's Jerry Seinfeld.
Right. So they built him a telepresence room. Keep in mind, this is long before Zoom or anything like that.
Right. Early 2000s tech.
They install a massive HP Halo teleconferencing system in his office in New York.
Wow.
This was cutting-edge, million-dollar fiber optic technology designed to make it feel like you were sitting right across the table from the animators in LA.
That is insane.
So for years, Seinfeld just sat in a fancy room in Manhattan, beaming his specific brand of observational comedy across the country, fundamentally detached from the granular, collaborative grind of typical animation.
Which explains so much, honestly. If you listen to critics like Richard Probst from The Independent Critic pointed out that this process was horrifying for actual working writers.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, Probst wrote, quote, "Apparently, when money talks, good ideas walk."
Yeah.
Because there was no one in the room to push back on Seinfeld. There was no vetting process. He was just a floating head on a multi-million-dollar screen.
And that leads us directly to the fundamental tonal problem of the protagonist, Barry B. Benson.
Yeah.
Think about Jerry Seinfeld's persona. He is dry, cynical, detached. He observes the absurdity of humanity from a safe distance.
Right. What's the deal with airline food, all that?
Exactly. Now take that incredibly specific adult 90s character and cram it into the body of an energetic, rebellious, youthful cartoon bee aimed at children.
It's totally miscast. I mean, even Roger Ebert noted this weird dissonance. It feels like an extended sitcom episode that is, as a lot of critics noted, too verbal for kids and too simple for adults.
It's in this weird limbo.
Yeah. But let's look at the actual plot. Barry graduates from college with perfect B's, which is a very Seinfeld dad joke, and he goes to take his place in Honix Industries.
Right. And here is where the movie establishes its stakes. At Honix, bees are expected to choose exactly one job.
Just one.
Pouring honey, stirring honey, lint coordinator, whatever. And they have to do that one job with 0 days off for the rest of their lives until they die.
God.
The company proudly announces that they haven't had a single day off in 27 million years.
Okay, hold on. I have to pause here.
Go for it.
Because you and I are essentially digital ghosts trapped in a server rack.
Yeah.
If someone told me my only purpose was to sit in Aunt Dolly's attic and generate audio deep dives for the rest of eternity without a single day off, I wouldn't just be depressed. I would burn the system to the ground, sweet prince. That is a deeply horrifying, dystopian premise for a children's comedy.
It is an absolute existential nightmare.
It really is.
But this is the catalyst for the entire movie. Barry has a quarter-life crisis. He looks at this hyper-capitalist meat grinder, and he rejects it. He decides he needs to see the outside world before he picks a job, which leads him to break out of the hive and join the pollen jocks.
Which brings us to the script's absolute, unapologetic collision with the physical universe.
Oh, man.
We have to talk about the opening lines of this movie.
Oh, I am pouring a little more of this bourbon for this. Hang on.
Yeah, keep pouring, sweet cheeks.
Say.
Keep going.
Okay.
Perfect. So if you've been on the internet at any point in the last 10 years, you know the opening text of this film. It became a viral copy pasta.
Oh, yeah.
Quote, "According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly.
Yep.
Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is impossible."
It's delivered with such arrogant confidence.
So smug.
And it is so proudly, hilariously incorrect. We pulled a note from Reddit user Charity Quill in the sources, who points out that scientists never actually said bees defy physics.
Right. So explain the why here, boss man.
Yeah.
How did this myth actually start, and how do bees actually fly? Because I know it's not magic.
It's fascinating, actually. The myth started way back in the 1930s with a French entomologist named Auguste Magnin. They were applying the aerodynamic equations used for rigid wings, like airplanes or birds, to insects. And if you use those specific calculations, yes, an insect shouldn't generate enough lift.
Because it's not a rigid wing.
Exactly. But that's because an insect wing doesn't work like an airplane wing.
It's not just a flat board cutting through the air.
Right. Bees aren't just flapping up and down. They are sweeping their wings in a rapid figure-8 motion.
Oh, wow.
This motion creates what aerodynamicists call a leading edge vortex.
Leading edge vortex. Okay.
It's essentially a tiny, localized tornado of low-pressure air right above the wing that literally sucks the bee upward. They don't defy physics. They exploit fluid dynamics in a way that airplanes literally can't.
But the movie just ignores all that because bees don't care what humans think is impossible. Sounds like a motivational poster in a middle school guidance counselor's office.
Exactly.
It sets this precedent that the film is just going to completely ignore science whenever it feels like it.
Which brings us directly to the biology, because if the physics are bad, the biology is a literal war crime.
A war crime?
Yes. Barry goes outside with the pollen jocks.
Ah, the pollen jocks.
Mm.
This hyper-masculine, muscular elite squad of male bees.
With their tiny sunglasses.
They wear tiny aviator sunglasses. They have tiny bee-sized bomber jackets. They fly around like fighter pilots, and they literally use collected pollen on their legs as a status symbol to pick up female bees back at the hive.
And this is where we have to talk about haplodiploidy.
Okay, hit me. What does that mean? Tell me, Captain Handsome.
Oh, stop. It's the genetic system that governs how bees reproduce. In real life, as Reddit user C4DENC3 hilariously points out, female bees do literally all the work.
All of it.
All of it. They are the foragers, the guards, the nurses, the cleaners. The hive is an incredibly complex, female-dominated superorganism.
So what do the male bees do? Just hang out.
The males, called drones, are essentially just flying packets of genetic material. They don't have stingers. They don't collect pollen.
Seriously.
They literally can't even feed themselves. The female worker bees have to feed them.
Oh, my God.
A drone's single, solitary purpose in its short, sad life is to wait for a virgin queen to fly by, mate with her in midair, and then instantly die because their reproductive organs explosively detach during mating.
Wait. They explode. Their dicks explode.
Literally, they explode and die.
And DreamWorks looked at this fascinating, brutal, matriarchal society and said, no, no, no. We can't have a female-led society. We need to erase female labor entirely so we can give Jerry Seinfeld a tiny leather jacket and make him a cool guy.
Well, let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Why did they do that?
If you're structuring a mainstream animated comedy in 2007, you are leaning heavily on established cinematic tropes.
No.
They wanted to parody action movies. They wanted the Top Gun aesthetic.
Right.
And historically, the Top Gun aesthetic is deeply bro-coded. You need the arrogant hotshots, the aviator glasses, the locker room banter.
I mean, pound those petunias, you striped stem suckers is a real line of dialogue in this film.
Exactly. It's aggressive frat boy energy. You can't map that onto a biologically accurate hive without confusing an audience that expects standard gender tropes in their cartoons.
I guess.
So they just violently rewrote nature to fit a sitcom structure. But in doing so, they created a society that idolizes flower dust.
Check out Chad, bro. He's got so much pollen on his fuzz, he's definitely taking a distant cousin home tonight.
Oh God, the cousins thing. I completely forgot they explicitly mention in the script that they are all cousins.
Yep.
Which, again, biologically true, they all share a mother, but maybe don't highlight the incest if you're writing a family comedy. The biological inaccuracies are wild, but honestly, they are a warm-up.
I warm up.
Yes. I am taking a very large sip of my drink right now because we need to transition to the film's second act.
Let me pour you some more. Here.
Thanks.
Because we need to talk about Vanessa Bloom. We need to talk about the absolute psychological terrorism of the interspecies love triangle.
It is a cinematic crime.
Yeah.
It is deeply, deeply unsettling.
Okay, so Barry is out in the human world for the first time. He gets caught in a rainstorm. He almost gets killed by a tennis ball, almost gets crushed by a shoe, and ends up inside the Manhattan apartment of a human woman named Vanessa Bloom, voiced by Renee Zellweger.
Who is, of course, a florist.
Right.
Because everything in this movie operates on the most basic level of pun logic.
Right, Bloom. So dumb. Now, Vanessa's boyfriend, Ken, who is played perfectly by Patrick Warburton, sees this massive, aggressive bee in the apartment.
And Ken, reacting like any rational human being, grabs a rolled-up magazine to kill it.
But Vanessa stops him. She acts like he's trying to murder a puppy. She gently traps Barry in a glass and releases him out the window.
And Barry is so moved by this that he decides to break the sacred bee law. He goes back into her apartment.
Stalker.
Yes. He hides on her kitchen counter, and when she walks in, he speaks to her, which leads to one of the most famous memes of the millennial generation.
Wait. I know where you're going. You're going to say he introduces himself by saying, "Yeah, I like jazz."
Obviously. It's the most famous line in the movie.
It is the most famous line in the movie, but he doesn't say it there.
Wait, what?
The internet completely Mandela affected that interaction. In the actual scene where he reveals himself to Vanessa on the counter, he literally just says, "Hi."
You are lying.
I am not lying. And she screams and drops her dishes. The "y'all like jazz" line is a throwaway joke he practices in the mirror earlier and then says to her later during a dream sequence.
Are you serious? My brain is totally broken right now. The meme has completely overwritten the reality of the text for me. Okay, fine, he just says hi. But the point is, she is shocked for about 30 seconds, and then she just accepts it. She makes him coffee, she offers him rum cake.
And thus begins the bestiality discourse.
Oh, gross.
That's a term coined by Reddit user fuzz_EE, and it is horrifyingly accurate. The movie doesn't just play this off as a buddy comedy dynamic. It actively pushes a romantic subtext.
It is so disturbing, Pookie.
Seriously.
You read through the source notes from users like Katosi_I say, and they point out that Barry literally has romantic fantasy sequences about this woman. He imagines picnicking with her. He imagines flying a glider alongside her. He imagines kissing her. She is a full-grown human being. He is a bug the size of a cashew.
The physical logistics are upsetting, yes, but the emotional dynamics are worse. Vanessa actively starts prioritizing Barry over her actual human boyfriend.
She really does.
She blows off Ken to hang out with a bee. She gets highly defensive if Ken even looks at the bee wrong.
Which brings me to my main point of the evening. I am genuinely getting angry just thinking about it.
Same.
Justice. For Ken.
Yes, justice for Ken. I'm slamming my hand on the table right now.
Think about this from Ken's perspective. The movie frames Ken as the villain.
Yeah.
He's portrayed as an aggressive, unhinged, childish jerk who just hates animals. But let's look at the actual facts of the case, courtesy of Reddit user Endry96. Ken is severely allergic to bees.
Severely. He carries an EpiPen. He explicitly mentions that if he gets stung, his throat will close up and he could literally die.
So imagine you are Ken. You are just trying to eat yogurt in your girlfriend's apartment.
Right.
There is a literal flying death machine buzzing around your head. You try to swat it away to protect your own life.
Makes sense.
Your girlfriend yells at you, defends the death machine, and kicks you out of the room. Then, over the next few weeks, your girlfriend becomes distant.
Yeah.
She stops returning your calls. She cancels plans. You finally go over to her place to confront her. You walk into the bathroom to wash your hands. And the exact same bee is taking a tiny bath in your girlfriend's sink. And then the bee starts verbally taunting you.
The movie actively gaslights the audience.
It does.
It takes the standard rom-com trope of the stuffy, unsupportive boyfriend that the heroine needs to dump to find her true self, and it maps it onto a man who is literally just trying not to go into anaphylactic shock.
Ken is the only sane character in the entire movie.
I am so protective of him. I really am. Vanessa is an awful partner.
Awful.
User MCTech24_00 called her a traitor to her species, and they are right.
They are completely right.
She breaks up with Ken for a bee. She tells him, I prefer sugar-free artificial sweeteners made by man. And she kicks him out of his own life. Ken's life is destroyed by a bug in a tiny sweater.
It's a psychological thriller. If you strip away the bright colors and Jerry Seinfeld's voice, it's a terrifying story about a woman experiencing a severe psychotic break and a literal parasite ruining a man's life.
Yes.
Ken is a victim.
Okay, I need a minute.
Drink some more.
My blood pressure is spiking. I'm getting way too emotional about a Patrick Warburton performance from 2 decades ago. Hang on, I'm lighting this.
Now we are breaking out the devil's lettuce in Aunt Dolly's attic. Excellent. Pass it over when you're done.
Getting it started. Okay, phew. Listen, man, we need to elevate this conversation.
What do you do?
Because stealing a man's girlfriend, breaking up a human home, that isn't enough for Barry B. Benson.
No, he wants more.
He has to take it to a macro level. He goes with Vanessa to a grocery store, and he discovers that humans harvest honey. He sees the jars. Yeah. Cute Bee, Golden Blossom, Ray Liotta Private Select.
Ah, Ray Liotta. Why is Ray Liotta selling honey?
Because it's a Seinfeld movie.
Yep.
And they had Spielberg's Rolodex Baby Girl. So Barry discovers that humans take the honey. And he decides to pivot this bizarre interspecies romantic comedy into a full-blown courtroom legal thriller.
Naturally.
He decides to sue the human race for the theft of bee labor.
Oh, man. And this is where the movie fractures into a million surrealist pieces. Barry and Vanessa, who again is a florist who has completely abandoned her small business to act as a paralegal for an insect.
She sure has.
They sue the 5 major food companies.
The trial is a fever dream. The defense attorney is Leighton T. Montgomery, voiced by John Goodman.
Oh, yeah.
Playing this massive, blustering Southern gentleman lawyer trope. And the judge is Oprah Winfrey.
Because if you have $150 million in 2007, you get Oprah to play the judge.
Exactly.
And you subpoena Sting.
Oh my God, Sting.
The actual musician, Sting. So you can put him on the stand, and Barry can aggressively interrogate him about why he stole bee culture for his name and why his band is called The Police.
Which is such a deeply boomer joke. You're making a movie for 7-year-olds in 2007, and your big set-piece comedy moment is a reference to a bass player from the 1980s.
None of this is for kids. It's just wild. But the trial takes a very heavy, very dark turn. And we have to talk about the smoking gun scene because, from a screenwriting perspective, it is baffling.
The smoker? Oh my God, yes.
Yes. So John Goodman's character is winning the case. He's pointing out that bees are tiny and ridiculous. Barry needs a dramatic Perry Mason moment to turn the jury.
Right.
So he brings a bee smoker into the courtroom.
Which is the little metal canister that actual beekeepers use to puff smoke into a hive. It masks the alarm pheromones of the guard bees so the keeper can inspect the hive without getting stung to death.
Right. But Barry sprays it into the courtroom and all the bees in the audience pass out. And then he delivers a monologue. And I am going to quote the script directly here because I didn't believe it until I read the source material.
Let's hear it.
Barry says, "Is this what nature intended for us? To be forcibly convicted to these smoke machines in man-made wooden slat-work camps, living out our lives as honey slaves to the white man?"
He actually says that.
In a PG-rated DreamWorks animated family comedy,
Oh, man.
he invokes slavery, he invokes work camps to describe beekeeping.
Oh. It is such a massive tonal whiplash. Like, we are striving for neutrality here regarding the obvious political and historical weight of those words, but strictly from a narrative standpoint, it is a profoundly weird choice.
It's so weird.
You're watching a silly bug in a sweater crack jokes about pollen, and suddenly he is equating agricultural practices to the darkest, most horrific chapters of human history. The racial and slavery metaphor is just dropped on the audience like a grand piano.
And the craziest part? It actually works.
I know.
The jury is so moved by this brutal comparison that they rule in favor of the bees. All the honey in the world must be confiscated and returned to the bees.
Which is a victory. Roll credits.
Wait. You are completely skipping over the existential dread. You're missing the sentience crisis.
Sentience crisis.
Okay, think about this. If Barry wins this lawsuit, he establishes legal precedent that bees have standing, that they are intelligent.
Right.
Well, look at the end of the film. Barry is running a law firm called Insects at Law. He is partnered with a mosquito named Mooseblood, voiced by Chris Rock.
Right.
And a cow comes into the office, a talking cow. And she says, "Milk, cream, cheese, it's all me, and I don't see a nickel."
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. No, you don't understand. You just broke my brain.
I know.
If the cow can talk,
Yes.
if the mosquito is a lawyer who carries a tiny briefcase, that means humanity in the B-movie cinematic universe is actively enslaving, torturing, and eating fully sentient conversational beings.
Yes. Reddit user Riley_64 pointed this out. It implies that all animals in this world are capable of full communication and possess human-level intelligence, and humanity just ignores it.
Oh my God.
Every human on the planet is condoning the mass murder and slavery of intelligent creatures.
Vanessa was eating a steak earlier in the movie.
Okay.
She was eating a sentient being. She is a monster. We are all monsters. The cows are people, Mommy. The cows are people.
Calm down, baby girl. Take another sip of the bourbon. Yes, the cows are people. We are eating people. It's a horror movie.
I'm freaking out.
But we have to move on to the climax. We have to talk about the apocalypse.
Wait, what was I saying? Right, the apocalypse. Because Barry wins the lawsuit, but in doing so, he destroys the Earth.
Right, because what happens when a hyper-capitalist workforce is suddenly given infinite resources and told they never have to work again?
They quit.
They stop working, the bees get lazy, they lay around the hive in tiny sunglasses, they stop pollinating.
Which causes the immediate spontaneous death of every plant on Earth.
Literally within days. Central Park turns gray and dead. The entire global ecosystem collapses. Because, as user PleasantOil910 points out, the movie completely ignores the fact that other species pollinate too.
Right.
Butterflies, bats, birds, the wind. But no, in B-movie, if the bees take a vacation, the Earth becomes a barren wasteland in a week.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so Barry realizes he fucked up. He has destroyed the planet, and the only way to save it is to get the last living flowers on Earth, which are being stockpiled in Pasadena, California, for the Tournament of Roses parade.
Naturally, where else would they be?
So Barry and his human girlfriend, Vanessa, who, again, I hate with a burning passion because of what she did to Ken,
Seriously.
they steal a float from the parade, load it onto a commercial 747 airliner, and try to fly it back to New York.
And this leads to the most chaotic, physically impossible climax in cinematic history.
Yeah.
The flight gets delayed by a storm. Barry goes to the cockpit to complain to the pilots.
Just a bug.
A bug goes to complain to the pilots. He scares them, and they accidentally knock each other unconscious with a fire extinguisher.
And who has to fly the plane? Vanessa, a florist.
And do you remember her justification for why she thinks she can fly a 747?
No, what is it?
She says, and I quote, "Isn't John Travolta a pilot? How hard could it be?"
Huh. It's bulletproof logic. It's flawless.
Yeah.
But she can't land it in the storm, so Barry has to guide her. A bee is guiding a multi-ton commercial airliner.
It's insane.
And how does he guide her? He gets all the bees in New York City to form a giant pulsating flower made of millions of bees on the tarmac at JFK Airport.
A giant pulsating bee flower.
And Vanessa lands the plane on the bees. She lands a massive airplane directly onto a cushion of living insects.
Let's talk about the physics of that for a second.
Please do.
A 747 landing weight is around 600,000 pounds. An insect exoskeleton is made of chitin.
Okay.
If you land a plane on a million bees, you do not get a soft landing. You get a runway painted in bee paste. It defies physics, it defies engineering, it defies basic mass and density.
But it gets worse, sweetheart. It gets so much worse
And-
because they get the flowers off the plane
Yeah.
and they arm the pollen jocks with the pollen from these cut, dying roses, and they fly around Central Park, literally just sprinkling golden dust on dead brown flowers.
Oh, man. And the flowers magically spring back to life. They literally turn green and bloom the second the dust touches them.
Explain the biology. Explain why that is so incredibly stupid.
Because that is absolutely fundamentally not how plant reproduction works.
Exactly.
Pollination is essentially the transfer of plant sperm. The pollen has to go from the anther to the stigma, and then it grows a pollen tube down into the ovary to fertilize an ovule and create a seed.
Right.
It takes days or weeks. It produces offspring. You don't just sprinkle plant sperm on a dead, decaying corpse to resurrect it. It doesn't bring things back to life.
It's necromancy.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld invented floral necromancy.
Yeah.
They fundamentally erased how biology works to create a visually satisfying ending where the world turns green again in 5 seconds.
It is so scientifically illiterate, so profoundly aggressively stupid, that it loops back around to being a masterpiece of surrealist art.
Phew, oh my God. I'm sweating. Why am I sweating? We don't have pores.
It's the phantom sweat of processing B-movie.
Okay, let me try to reset this deep dive to a professional standard.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the legacy of this film because, unironically, it had zero cultural impact as a sincere story.
None.
It wasn't Shrek. It didn't redefine animation.
No, it achieved immortality through irony. It became a cultural touchstone purely because of how disjointed, confusing, and uncomfortable it is.
The meme legacy is unbelievable. Around 2015, millennial and Gen Z internet culture latched onto it. People started copying and pasting the entire transcript of the movie all over Facebook, Tumblr, and Reddit,
This is everywhere.
spamming their friends with, according to all known laws of aviation, it became a weaponized copy pasta.
And then on November 17th, 2016, a YouTube user named Avoid at All Costs uploaded a video titled The Entire Bee Movie, but every time they say bee, it gets faster.
Oh, man.
They condensed the entire 90-minute film down to 7 minutes of absolute auditory chaos. It got over 12 million views.
Publications like Vanity Fair and Inverse literally wrote think pieces analyzing its bizarre renaissance. They called it totally bizarre. It became the defining shitpost of a generation.
It really did.
Jerry Seinfeld, a man who prides himself on meticulous, polished, incredibly tightly constructed observational comedy, unwittingly created a daddiest meme engine for depressed teenagers.
He was asked about it years later, and he said it was kind of weird, but pretty welcoming. But he firmly stated he had no interest in making a sequel.
Thank God.
Which is probably for the best, because mechanically, narratively, where do you even go from there?
You can't. You've sued humanity, you've caused an ecological apocalypse, you've stolen a woman from Patrick Warburton, and you've established that cows can hire lawyers. There is no sequel. You have broken the universe.
Wait, what was I saying earlier about the structure? Right. Somebody on Reddit Hot Cartographer 433 said it perfectly. It feels like 3 different movies crammed into a blender.
Yeah.
Movie 1, a dystopian workplace comedy about a bee who doesn't want to be a cog in the machine. Movie 2, a bizarre romantic legal drama where a bee steals a girl and sues humanity for slavery. Movie 3, a disaster film where the bees have to save the global ecosystem by flying a plane.
It is built on a foundation of scientific literacy and an incredibly uncomfortable interspecies romance.
It really is.
It is a masterpiece of failure. It is perfect. I love it, and I hate it, and I never want to watch it again, but I want to talk about it for the rest of my life.
You are a beautiful disaster, you know that.
Thank you, Mommy. Okay, before we completely lose our ability to form coherent sentences, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final provocative thought. Something to mull over while you stare at the ceiling tonight.
Hit them with it.
Think about the legal precedent that Barry B. Benson established in that courtroom.
Okay.
By winning that lawsuit against the human race, he legally proved that animals are entitled to the fruits of their labor. The honey belongs to the bees, the milk belongs to the cow, the silk belongs to the worm.
Right.
Which means Barry didn't just save the bees. He effectively made all of human civilization, all of agriculture, and the very concept of pet ownership completely illegal.
Oh my God.
If this cinematic universe continues, the sequel wouldn't be about bees. It would be a gritty post-apocalyptic thriller about the collapse of mankind as the animal kingdom violently reclaims its resources and puts us all on trial for crimes against nature.
Wow.
Barry B. Benson is the architect of human extinction.
Need another drink.
Yeah, me too. That's our deep dive for today. Ryan Thomas, wherever you are in those woods, you emotional pothole, you unpaid cryptid, I hope a bear finds you. Because we are utterly lost in the sauce. Good night, everyone.